when we've run out of options, when the doctors and other experts say there's nothing more they can do, when your friends and neighbors point out that there's just no use hoping for you or for your loved one to get better. Where do you go when you've been completely ostracized by the very community that might help you because of fear and ignorance? Where do you turn when you are wealthy and affluent and you have all the worldly resources at your disposal and none of those resources can help? Where do you turn when you are nameless and poor and have no resources to call on at all? In today's story, Jairus humiliates himself, throwing himself at the feet of this leader of rabble, Jesus, begging him to come to his assistance and see his daughter. The nameless woman risks being stoned to death for contaminating the people in the crowd and for contaminating Jesus, so that she can simply touch the hem of his cloak. Why do we wait until we are desperate before opening a dialogue with God? It's just one of those things that we do. Bishop John Spong tells the story in Living the Question 2, on the section about prayer, about when his wife received a diagnosis of terminal cancer. The doctors gave her 2 years to live. Now, Bishop Spong, he was a bishop of New Jersey at the time. He was very much a public figure. There were lots of people who knew him and liked him. And so prayer groups all over New Jersey started to form, and they were praying for Bishop Spong and his wife. Groups that far exceeded the bounds of the Episcopal Church. And his wife, John Spong, first of all, he names that as a love gift. As a gift of love of these people, to pray for him and his wife in their difficulties. And it turns out that his wife didn't live 2 years, she lived 6 years. And what do you know that the prayer groups started to take credit for her living an extra 4 years. And while Bishop Spong continues to affirm that the gift of love that these people gave and the compassion and the way that they opened themselves up to him and his wife, he's troubled. He's troubled by their claim. He can't help but think about a garbage man from Newark. Newark is one of the poorest cities in the United States. Can't help but think of a garbage man from Newark. And what if his wife has cancer? And he's not famous. He doesn't have hundreds of people, dozens of congregations praying for him and his wife. And Bishop Spong says, well, I just can't imagine a God. I can't imagine a God who would say, well, here's the bishop's wife. She's getting lots of prayers said for her. We're going to let her live another 4 years. But that guy in Newark, well, nobody's praying for his wife, so we're going to let her die. Spong says he can't imagine a God like that, and if he could, he'd be an atheist. I have to agree with Spong on that point. I can't imagine a God who would show that kind of favoritism. I can't imagine a God who would let a person suffer because all the right I's and all the right T's weren't dotted and crossed. If I could imagine that kind of God, I too would have to be an atheist. I do believe in what Spong calls the gift of love, the love gift. The gift that we are able to share by praying for one another. Prayer is an intimate expression of relationship. Relationship with one another, relationship with the rest of creation, and relationship with God. Jesus says to the nameless woman, "Your faith has made you well." We need to remember that faith for Jesus, in his context, doesn't mean belief. It doesn't mean believing in a set of propositions about God or about Jesus. For Jesus, faith means trust and loyalty. Trust and loyalty are characteristics of a healthy relationship. Faith is about healthy relationship. And it's healthy relationship with ourselves, healthy relationship with one another, healthy relationship with creation, healthy relationship with God that heals and makes us well. Unfortunately, human relationships aren't always good. We tend to excel at brokenness. We live constantly in broken relationship with ourselves, with each other, between cultures, between nations, with creation. There are broken relationships everywhere we go. And broken relationships are not a source of healing. Broken relationships themselves need to be healed before they can become a source of healing. And that just makes the problem worse, because for a broken relationship to be healed, both parties in the relationship need to be ready for the healing at the same time. How many times have I been ready to make amends in a relationship, but the other party is still angry or unavailable or simply too busy or uninterested in making those amends, and so we continue in broken relationship? Or how often is the other party ready to make amends and I'm the one who's still angry or too busy or just unwilling to participate in healing that relationship? The good news is that God is always ready for right relationship to begin. In the story we just heard, Jesus is on his way to a house call. A little girl is dying when a nameless woman reaches out and touches him. Jesus doesn't say, "Not right now, I'm busy." He doesn't tell the nameless woman to take a number or to wait her turn. He stops what he's doing and he engages her in conversation, affirming her faith, affirming her trust and loyalty. And God's like that. Anytime that we are ready to enter into a healthy relationship with God, God is ready for healthy relationship with us. Healthy relationship that can bring healing. We live in a world that is desperate for healing. Individual, national, international, and environmental healing. With God's help, may we seek out healthy, faith-filled relationships that can bring healing and make us well. Amen.